Hello, this is Jan from Red Toad Art Studio. Today we're going to talk about how to set up your workspace. Now this video is for beginners, and I mean beginners, and it's amazing how hard it is to find some of this information out there for us rank beginners. So let's talk about that. The first thing that usually pops into your mind that you need when you watercolor is our watercolors. Now here on our channel we use inexpensive watercolors, things that you might have in the house already or that you can get a hold of easily. So when I set up my space, I need to set up my watercolors. Now, it really depends on whether you're right-handed or left-handed how you do this. But whichever hand is your dominant, the one you're going to paint with, put your watercolors to that side. Now I like to put my pans of color on this side, and where I get to mix my colors right here next to it. Some of your sets, these may be different and different sizes. It will vary for every set, but I like to have it right there close to my hand that paints. All right. You will need water bottles, and any kind you want to use. I like this kind. It's hard to tip it, and so I'm not as likely to make a mess. And especially if you're going to paint with your kids, these are a good idea. But these kind of bottles are fantastic too. This just came with some food in it, and isn't that a cute bottle? Now, some people will paint with one, others like to paint with two. I think there's some that like to paint with 3 containers. Now that will be all up to you. But I like to place my water, and you can't see it, can you? Let me move this down. I like to place my water above my paints. Can you see that? Just barely, but it's there, isn't it? There's my water. Now, we usually tape down our watercolor picture. This is the picture I want to watercolor today. Now, if I just start painting with it like this, it's paper, and paper doesn't like water very well. It tends to wrinkle. So what we do is we like to tape it down to something. And one good idea is if you have a clipboard around. This makes something really great to tape to. Now, this mat I have, I could also tape to this. And some people, face it, may just tape to their furniture. But only if you're the adult and that furniture is yours. It's better to do this. And I really like the clipboard method because if I need to move it, I can just pick it up and go and not even disturb my watercolor painting. Now once you find where you're going to put that, you'll want to tape it down. This is getting your workstation ready and your picture ready. So painter's tape is a wonderful thing. Just tape around those edges, and this has a double duty. It keeps it from buckling too much. It also gives you this really nice white edge to your picture when you take it off. And also, be careful of what tape you use. I like painter's tape because it doesn't do too much tearing to my paper when I take it off. You do have to be careful when you take this off. There, see, now I have my pictures already. I have my paints. I have my water. Now there's a couple more things you will need. Until you get, well, even then, when you're an expert, most of us like to have a swatch of our paints because this tells us what colors are in here, and we can look at them and see what they look like when they're dry. So I like to keep that, well, probably above here. You can't see it in this, but I'm going to lay it up there. I will need my brushes. Those I can lay wherever that's comfortable, but probably here on the right side of my paint, which for this, maybe it'll fit there in camera view. There they go. I also want to have a scrap piece of paper that when I mix paint here, I can try it out here and be sure it's the color I want. So I just lay that either like here or even maybe between my paint and there. And there's a couple more things you'll need. This is as important, I think, as your paintbrush, a paper towel, or an old rag. And I vote for the paper towel because I don't want to go trying to wash out watercolors from rags. Paper towels are great, and you use them and use them and use them. So I like to just put that in my other hand that I'm not painting with, so I can constantly be putting my brush in the water and cleaning it off just like this, and just hold on to it and go back and forth. You will need something like a little spray bottle or a dropper bottle to wet down your pan of paints with. Now I like the spray bottle. Some others might like a little dropper bottle. And keep those here to your side too. Now, the reason for this setup is you don't want to always be crossing over your whole picture with either the paint on your brush or the water on your brush. So with this setup, I can get water on my brush and come over and go right to where I need to be. I can get paint and do the same thing. If my paint was over here, I'd be doing this and crossing over my picture, and you know what happens? Then we drip on our picture, and then we have to figure a way to get rid of those drips, which it can be done, but why do it? So just get in the habit of having your paints and your water to the right side of your work if you're right-handed, and on the left side if you're left-handed. And that is basically all you need to worry about in setting up your paint station. And if you can, it would be great to have a little spot where you could just leave this up all the time. But all of us don't have that advantage, and some of us have to use our kitchen table. But that's okay. This is not hard to do. So I hope this helps you a little bit. And I hope to see you soon in some of our other videos. So I'll say bye for now. Bye-bye.